Sternberg originally came up with the triangular theory of love, but was partly dissatisfied with this model because it didn't answer the question, why are some people attracted to certain people but not others? This question has haunted many psychologists, including anthropologist Helen Fisher, who dedicated writing a book titled, Why Him? Why Her? To answer this question, she came up with a theory of the four temperaments to conclude we are biologically pulled towards certain others over other people. In comparison, Sternberg answers this question differently than Fisher. He answers it based on psychological reasoning that proclaims we are drawn to people with matching ideal love stories. If we have matching love stories, then we are more likely satisfied and compatible for the long term. To understand love's origins, he found them in stories. Each partner has a story about what love is and about what love ideally should be. If each partner's stories of love coincide, such as both preferring the war story, they are more likely to stay together. And this dysfunctional dynamic of two war stories ironically feels safe. He first explains this roadblock with couples. He asserts that couples first start out being physically attracted and having similar interests and values, but then they may notice something missing in the relationship. This missing part is usually story compatibility. He says a couple whose stories don't match is like two characters on stage acting out two different plays. They may look fine at first glance, but there is an underlying lack of coordination to their interaction. He is underlining this issue. If you view a relationship with someone in a very different light, it may cause the relationship to end. This is why understanding our own stories and those of our partner is critically important in the formation of a relationship, as well as altering your story or changing your story if need be. How do we form our love story? We form ideas about love soon after birth, based on our inborn personality, our early experiences, whether romantic or not, adolescent interactions, our observations of our parents' relationships, depictions of romance in movies, TV, and books, the wisdom we've acquired as well as the emotional baggage of our past, rejection by compiling a composite of the attributes of persons in our past whom we have wanted in some way but have been unable to have. It is important to know what love stories exist so you can avoid creating a love story with someone that goes against your ideal love story. What are the different love stories according to Sternberg? I will just mention a couple of the most popular stories people hold. One is the fantasy story. Someone who holds a fantasy story expects to be saved by a knight in shining armor or to marry a princess and live happily ever after. This is not only a popular collective love story, but the love story of the media. The media, especially Disney, generates and serves this love story to society. The addiction story. Someone who has a strong anxious attachment style, clinging behavior, and anxiety at thought of losing a partner is often drawn to this story. This love story usually underlines codependency and emotional unavailability of the one helping the addict, for they choose someone they know cannot meet them on an emotional level. The art story. Someone who has an art story looks for physical attractiveness in a partner as the most important quality. These types of partners use the image of their partner to raise their status as a high-value man or woman on a superficial level, and thus bolster their self-esteem. Donald Trump and Leonardo DiCaprio are examples of men who are fixated on the exterior beauty of their partners. The problem with having this love story is that once beauty starts to fade, they usually replace their lover with a younger version who possesses the same or higher level of attractiveness. In the following slide, I will show you the list of the other love stories for you to evaluate and discover your own love story. Sternberg speculates the solution to finding compatibility and sharing similar love stories is become conscious of our love stories, seek people with compatible tales, and change love stories to replot conclusions that aren't working for us.